Got another aged bourbon for you tonight. This one from Jim Beam Distilling. We're talking about Knob Creek 12-year-old. Like I mentioned before, this one's from Jim Beam. It's aged 12 years, 100 proof, like the standard Knob Creek 9 product. And this one, it's got a mash bill of 75 corn, 13 rye, 12 malted barley. I don't know if that's officially known or if that's just what people have surmised. This one is aged in barrels that are number 4 alligator char. This specific brand, I believe it only came out 2 years ago. Knob Creek, for a while, they had their 9-year age statement on their bourbons. They took it away for a while when demand got pretty crazy and stocks were getting more limited. They eventually brought that back, and then I believe 2-ish years ago is when they released this bourbon, the Knob Creek 12. I've tried this before, one of the earlier batches, and I did like it, especially as more air got to it. I've not tried this batch yet though, so let's open it up, give it a smell, give it a taste, and see how it is. Wouldn't be Knob Creek if oh, hey, this one actually came out a little bit easier than some of the other Knob Creek waxes. I was about to talk crap about it. Knob Creek is stepping up its wax game, so it's at least possible to open these things without ruining your table. I'm not usually a big fan of Jim Beam products. They've got a nuttiness to them oftentimes that it just isn't my favorite. Not all the time, but I'm a little sensitive to that. I know Heaven Hill, a lot of people get a nuttiness from their kind of funkiness of oak that I sometimes get. When I get it, I'm usually not the biggest fan just because it stands out a lot to me, and it's the same with these Jim Beam products too. It's not that it's a bad flavor or a bad taste or that it can't be a good bourbon and really well balanced. It's just that one flavor note really stands out to me. Like with some high rye bourbons, I feel that way about mint too. Mint and this peanutty, peanut buttery sort of flavor. It becomes all that I can taste. But from what I remember of this, it's not quite that way. Let's give it a nose, give it a taste, see what we think. Okay. Right away, I'm reminded why I liked this one more than a lot of other Jim Beam products that I have had before. So there is a little bit of that nuttiness there. It's more like a peanut butter or like an artificial peanut butter sort of note, but it's really, really well balanced with, I'm picking up like, the rye spice is really strong in this one. It's like kind of like baking spice, more like black peppery, and the oak, there's sweet oak on this one. That, these additional 3 years compared to the normal Knob Creek product makes a really big difference, I think. It's just this rich, sweet, maybe like some dark fruit on there, hard to say, but it's a really good nose. I like it a lot, and that means a lot for me, even knowing that I can pick up on that peanut butter, and I'm still a fan of it. All right, let's see how it tastes. First sip. Peanut butter on the front palate to some spiciness, almost like a leathery, maybe like a tobacco on the mid palate, and then a little nutty again on the back palate, and it finished spicy and sweet, I'd say. That black pepper I'm picking up on quite a bit. All in all, I'd say it's less sweet so far on the palate than it was on the nose. Not as bright, a little darker. Just giving it a go around. Second sip, better, more balanced, less nuttiness, although there is a little bit of that peanut butter there. The rye spice kicked in more, and then the overall transition between, as it developed on the palate was a lot more smooth. And I am picking up on more sweetness, but it's not as much of like a fruity sweetness or any kind of like an artificial sweetener. It's more like sweet oak, maybe like a syrupy sort of sweetness. I wouldn't go so far as to say like maple or honey or anything like that, but it is this dark, rich, woody sweetness. And it's really good, especially like going back and forth between the palate and the nose. They amplify each other, they help each other a lot. The more I drink this, the more I like it. It's going down easier, I'm picking up on more flavors. They're blending better together, where I'm not picking up so much on these strong notes, and then it takes like a hard right turn from like peanuts to sweet syrup or something like that. It's all just kind of blending, developing nicely into a really good drinking experience. And the mouthfeel on this too, it's pretty viscous. 100 proof can kind of go either way. Sometimes it could be a little, maybe not thin, but not super viscous. Other times it can be particularly viscous, and I'd say this is definitely more on the heavier side, the syrupy viscous side, which I like. Coats the mouth a little bit better, the flavor sticks around a little bit more, and there is a pretty, the finish on this one I'd say is like medium to long. So it's, if you consider finishes for 100 proof, I'd say it's a very good one for sure. You know, it's hard for me to judge these on the neck pour. I've been giving this some spins, trying to get some air to it off camera, like as much as I can, just to make sure that I am getting a really fair, full experience of what this bourbon is. And I know from past experience that this can get better as it ages. And it's getting better with every sip that I have. I'd say if I had to give this a grade now, I'd probably give it a 8.1, I'd say. It's a very good bourbon. Could be great if you're in the right mood, I think. And if we're taking value into consideration, value, rareness, whole presentation, like the whole experience on like a normal grade scale, I'd say this is probably I'd give it a B plus, I think. B plus, A minus. If it gets better as it ages, I'd say maybe A minus. I mean, this is harder to find though. Maybe I'm going back on that. Knob Creek's getting better at this, but I do believe they only release it during certain seasons, or maybe even once in one extended season every year. And the prices on this can vary quite a bit. I think if you could find it for, I don't know that you could find it for under 60. And I think most places you're gonna find it for closer to 70, at least around here. So with that in mind, I mean, it's a 12-year-old bourbon. Those are harder to find, but that is a bit expensive, at least considering, I don't know, I go back and forth on that price at least. Maybe I'll keep this at a B plus, considering price and allocation, how hard it is to find, things like that. I enjoyed this one. Hope you did too. If you have it, let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you get all that peanut butter. Let me know if you get any sweetness at all on this one, or if it is just, you know, kind of this dark, you know, more bitter sort of affair for you. If you pick up on the oak, if you do think the extra 3 years made a big difference, or if this is worth the upcharge over like the Knob Creek 9, which you can get for 30, 35 bucks. I would think it's worth the upcharge. I think I would rather pay for this than the Knob Creek 9, but I don't know that either one's going to be the very first thing that I'm looking for when I go into the store. But enjoy. Cheers. We'll see you next time.